Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find a tougher regional throughout the FBU National Championship's history than the South through the years, especially in 8th grade. And that's the case today as we preview the 2016 edition that'll be played at the Beaufort Athletic Conference down in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Neil Sika, Alan Popadines, the Youth1.com National Scouting Director. We know the name GFL very well by now. Broward County is on the rise as of late. But there are so many good teams that could probably challenge to get out of this regional.
Absolutely they can. This South bracket is loaded every single year, and look no further than the success of the SEC and the ACC. That's where these kids are going.
Let's take a look at the matchups across the board in 8th grade down in the South Regional. In Gwinnett County, you'll see Houston face GFL. Broward County meets Sarasota. Georgia Middle School, GMSAA gets Jacksonville. It's South Atlanta dueling with Kentucky. Debutante Mississippi meets Tampa. Dade County will play East Houston. And Central Florida, the tournament's inaugural winner back in 2011, they get Southwest Florida. So that's a look at the matchups in the 8th grade South Regional. And the drum roll comes next because it's Youth One's Pop's Top 4 as he unveils his top 4 seeds in the South. It's always tightly contested, isn't it?
Yes, and I always make a lot of friends every year.
That's coming up next after these messages.
You can ask any coach, player, or fan. Before the beaches, the golf courses, the sunsets, Florida is known for football. But in Naples, Marco Island, you get them all. With the facilities and accommodations perfect for your off-season training, tournament, or event. Florida's Paradise Coast is Florida's sports paradise.
The best youth football players in the country are at Youth1.com. Youth1.com has the Elite 101 report of the nation's top 101 players, the Freshman 450, rankings, recaps, and news for football and all youth sports. And now anyone can create an athlete profile and share their stats, videos, and skills with the world. Whether you want to be the best or see the best, go to Youth1.com, celebrating the best of youth sports.
The Path to Naples is brought to you by the Naples, Marco Island, and Everglades Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also by Battle Sports Science and Youth One. Welcome back on the Path to Naples, 8th grade South Regional. Stop traffic. It's time for Youth One's Pop's Top 4 as we unveil his top 4 seeds and a sleeper in this loaded South Regional. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be.
Okay, off we go. Kentucky is your 4 seed, and this is a group back in 2011, the first year of the tournament. They made the Final 5. They've had some tough opponents in their second and third round matchups the last few years. There's no doubt about that. But last season, 7th graders made the regional semifinal, lost to GFL, same as the 8th graders did. Jordan Steele, you start with the big blue up front, and he's going to lead the way.
Yeah, what do we know about Team Kentucky every year? Every year they got some big athletes both on the line and at the skill positions, and Jordan Steele is that type of athlete. 2-time FBU Youth All-American, a very, very physical, athletic kid. Look for him to play guard on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball, both D tackle and end.
Well, speaking of the ball, who's going to get it and make some plays? Lavelle Wright, great little running back athlete, and then the tight end, the All-American Zachary Russell.
Yeah, Lavelle Wright is a kid that they're going to move around just in order to get him the ball. Running back, athlete, wide receiver. They're going to put him in the right position, and he's going to be successful. That's the type of kid he is. Zachary Russell, this past summer, he was the MVP of the Kentucky-Tennessee Future Stars game. He's a big playmaking tight end. He was at Top Gun this past summer and impressed and earned an FBU All-American Bowl invitation.
Gotta have a good quarterback, one that maybe has a little zip on the ball. That's Aaron Hash.
Yeah, Aaron Hash is a great-looking quarterback prospect. I've actually had the opportunity or the misfortune to catch a couple passes from him, and my hands were literally throbbing red after catching him. The kid's got some zip on his passes.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
You gotta soothe those palms, my friend. On to the 3rd seed. That is Dade County. Now, it's an interesting group because last year's 7th graders, they lose in the first round to Broward, 28-26. Broward goes on to win the whole thing at the 7th grade level. 8th graders make the regional final. They lose to GFL. Torrey Morrison, quarterback, who played varsity this year. That's some pretty good experience that's going to help them.
Yeah, right. And he returns from last year, and he played only one game. They lost, and he made the second team all FBU NC last year. But this year as an 8th grader, playing at Keys Gate Charter. He's a very, very athletic kid. Not sure if what the future holds for him, either athlete or quarterback, but he is Division I material.
Ought to have a good secondary when you play down in South Florida. Timothy Burns leads the DB corps.
Yeah, and Timothy Burns is another athlete who saw varsity time as an 8th grader this year at Doral Academy. One of the best cover corners in South Florida, if not the country, for the class of 2021.
One of my favorite names in the tournament so far across all grade levels. Sir Day, this running back from Everglades Prep.
Yeah, I'll go as far as to say that is my favorite name of any player in the tournament thus far. And yes, Everglades Prep, another high school varsity running back. 5'9", 180 pounds of fury. This kid has the ability to run you over or run away from you. Look for Dade to be extremely balanced.
They're the 3 seed. They open with East Houston, who is new to the South and new to the field this year. The 2 seed is GFL. We know their pedigree by now. Back-to-back 8th grade national championships in 2012 and 2013. 7th graders, they lost in the regional final last year to a very good Broward team. They went on to win it all. The 8th graders, who have since departed, they were humbled in that national championship game against North Texas, but they're always well coached. You know they'll be ready to play with all those All-Americans they have.
Absolutely. GFL, year in and year out, has some stud athletes, and obviously this year is no different. Starting off with a pair of wide receivers, Jaquez Smith, who is an FBU All-American this year, was a Top Gun and really showed out. 6'2", 180, looking like a college freshman. Big shoulders, Dwight Howard-looking shoulders. He's just really physically mature. And then the other receiver I was going to speak about was Jamal Haynes, one of the best 7-on-7 players that I've seen across the country for the class of 2021. Get him the ball in space and watch him go. Not the biggest kid, but man, is he quick.
Hallmark of Ken Bird's teams, the defense and the way they can stop the run. You've got Joe McKay, DJ Cameron, All-Americans, 2-time All-American and Joe McKay.
Yeah, Joseph McKay, anyone who's followed this tournament the last couple of years or the All-American Bowl saw what exactly that kid can do. Either D-end or running back, he's one of those special athletes that's going to make a lot of plays. In the All-American game last year, he played defensive end and had a number of sacks and tackles for loss, even though fighting through an injury that he sustained in that game. And then defensive end, DJ Cameron, he's got a spin move that would make Dwight Freeney shaking his boots. I'm telling you, he's well advanced. D-end, D-tackle, can play both. Very quick off the ball, very low center of gravity, gets in there and disrupts.
GFL opens with Houston, a very enticing matchup in the opening round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any of these South brackets, any games in the South bracket are going to be nail-biters.
That's the 2 seed, GFL. So that leads us to our 1 seed in the Youth 1 Pops Top 4, 8th grade South Regional. It's Broward County. The defending 7th grade champs now move up, and they have been an excellent team over the last couple of years. A very fun team to watch, right. Explosive. They beat Seattle in the championship game. The 8th graders, well, they're gone, but they lost to Dade, so trying to further the accomplishments this season in their final year. Got to start with a good quarterback. He's not all that big, but Nick Vadiato is a special player.
Absolutely. On a team full of athletes and All-Americans, Vadiato is the heartbeat. He is the engine that makes this car run. Very dependable, very smart. Yes, sir, no, sir. Great communication skill with all his fellow players. Demands the attention in the huddle. Just a great-looking prospect. He also has D1 aspirations.
One of the number 1 players in the country is running back Amari Daniels, and his job's a little bit easier when he can run behind big baby Lawrence Seymour, the 2-time FBU All-American. He is massive on that line.
Absolutely. Amari Daniels, I had ranked as the number 1 player in the country on the class of 2021 Elite 101 that came out this past summer. I mean, I don't know what more you can say about this kid. He is electric with the ball in his hand. Let him go. Hand on the ball, watch him run. He's fast and aggressive. Lawrence Seymour, I had ranked as the number 9 player in the Elite 101. That's the highest ranking I've ever given an offensive lineman, and for good reason. 6'2", 250, 260. Picked up a fumble last year in the championship game, if you recall, and rumbled and bumbled. Stumbled, didn't get all the way in, but made a great return. Just a special guy that's going to make the line play tick.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Vincent Davis. And, of course, a lot of these guys, the continuity is what really helps this Broward County team because they play together in their league level.
Yeah, all these guys are playing on the same team all year long. They are in sync. They're ready to go. Vincent Davis was an All-American last year, All-American this year. It's just a special group. There's no other way to put it. They're just special kids. I'd say 24 kids from this team go D1.
All right, 7th graders. Last year, as the Broward County team won the national championship, trying to do it as 8th graders. They're the #1 seed. They'll play Sarasota in their opening game. Got to have a sleeper team, and here are some of the other athletes and competitors that might have a chance to make some noise in this 8th grade South Regional. You've got Tampa as your sleeper. Last year's 7th graders, they lost to Broward in the regional semifinal. 8th graders keeping on that same level. Lost to Dade in the regional semifinal. So they're starting to build a little bit more, winning a couple of games. Jonathan Haley helps that, the big offensive lineman.
Yeah, Tampa was a first-year program last year. Nobody gave them any respect, and they came in batting down doors. I mean, they were ready to play, and Jonathan Haley's a prime example of the type of kids that they have. 6'3", 250 pounds, but can move like a running back. Will play O-line and D-line. Look out for him.
Last year, they had a running back, Tim Williams, who was hurt, basically playing on one leg. Could you imagine what a healthy Tim Williams does for Tampa's chances?
This kid is an All-American. 6'2", 210. Just can do it all. Linebacker, running back, anywhere you want to put this kid on the field. He's the type of person that a team will rally around and will not quit until the job is done. Tim Williams as a D1 player.
You got 2 good quarterbacks here, Matt Martinez and a second-team Youth 1 FBU NC All-American and Enzo Tedesco.
Yeah, you got a dual threat, or not a dual threat, but 2 quarterbacks you can go to here. Matt Martinez, 6'1", 170. He's a leader. Led his middle school team to the county title this past year. One of those kids that the rest of the team will rally around, and he'll take command of that huddle and tell everyone what they got to do. Enzo Tedesco, huge arm. It was on display all last year. Look for him to specialize in that deep ball.
Well, it's not just the top 4 seeds that are oozing with prospects across the board. There are others that will try and make some noise here in 2016. Mississippi is new to the field. You quietly like what they have to offer in some of their players. Keyshawn Lawrence starts it at the running back position.
Absolutely. I think this Mississippi team, once they get going in a couple of years, they're really going to attract some beasts down there in Mississippi. But Keyshawn Lawrence is the first of those beasts. 6 foot, 205 pounds, big back, can run with power and deceptive speed. Also look for him as outside linebacker.
I had to do a double take when I looked at Houston's offensive lineman, Ruben Fothery, who is 6'8".
6'8" in the 8th grade. Will play left tackle for Team Houston, as I'm sure you can imagine. Also one of the best basketball players in the country for class of 2021.
They get some good skill position players on that Houston team too, with the wide receiver DJ Harris.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver build, long, very fluid athlete. During the regular season, took some snaps at Wildcat. I think he's got a big upside. I don't know where exactly he fits going forward, but he's the type of player that makes a difference when he's on the field.
We're rounding out our other players to watch in the 8th grade South Regional. Running back from Sarasota, it's Michael Hayes, an FBU All-American last year.
Yeah, nicknamed Puda, 5'10", 175. The kid just produces massive numbers. Great all-around running back. One of those kids that you never have to take off the field.
And East Houston, new to the field, but Demetrius Davis isn't new to the spotlight. He's an FBU All-American, going to play on this team. He is a stud.
Yeah, absolutely. Davis is a kid who plays quarterback. In the All-American Bowl, he'll be playing athlete because he's that versatile. You can put him out at wide receiver or in space. Just a very good-looking kid who makes things happen when he has the ball in his hands.
All right, so that's a look at Youth 1's top 4 for the 8th grade South Regional. And we talk about matchups across the board. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw some upsets. So as you take your parting shot here, what do you think as we get this thing underway on Friday?
I mean, I think Broward is the class of this bracket. I mean, they're a very deep team. But as we've mentioned, this South bracket, there's athletes galore, teams galore. It's just going to be who can gel in this short period of time to make their team the best it can be.
Yeah, make their mark, and those games will be played in Gwinnett County, Georgia. You can follow along on FBUNC.com all throughout the first, second, and third rounds. The third round games will be streamed live, as we'll find our first teams on the way down to Southwest Florida playing in Naples. We're taking the quarterfinalists this year and enticing the field, so that'll be exciting to watch. FBUNC's YouTube page or FBUNC.com. The South, it's always one that we keep an eye on, and that'll be the case come Friday. He's Alan Popadines of Youth1.com, the National Scouting Director. I'm Neil Sika. We always appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the path to Naples.